Mighty Brakeman to get online. Got a big interview with Craig, the founder of Drop Bear Bites. Going to be talking about broken roads. That's going to be fun. It's going to be a short show today, I think, because we have Craig coming on at 8 Eastern, and we only have him for about a half an hour. So we're going to try to get most of the regular show done in an hour, which should be interesting, Eric. We've got tons to talk about. Not a lot of news, luckily, but it gives us time to do a couple reviews, some other stuff, of course, our Stinkos and Sweetos of the week. And if we have time, a free-for-all. So there we go. Eric, how you doing, man?
Better than last week.
Yeah. Finally got over your cold, huh?
No, I'm still getting over it. It's taking longer than I thought it would.
Yeah, you sound a little nasally. That's probably why. It's all good, though. All good in the hood.
I'm not entirely sure that was a cold. It might have been flu.
Oof. Yeah. Did you throw up?
No.
Oh. Well, maybe. Did you have, like, chills and achy and all that shit?
I had achiness, but not chills.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably just had a cold, really bad cold, man. So, your week was all about recovery. My week was about getting my car fixed, which I will talk about. If you're just joining us, the show's RPGrinders. We haven't started yet. Just waiting on Break to join on in. Later on, we'll have Craig from Drop Bear Bite Studio. They have a game called Broken Roads, which we will be talking about. They're right now in Australia. They're an Australian company, and they actually listened to us talk about their game online. So props to those guys and gals out there. But they are at PAX Australia, so we only have Craig for about a half an hour.
Was it in the tags?
What's that?
The Drop Bear Bites was in the tag for the episode. That might have been how they found out.
It could have been. Metadata nowadays you can find pretty much anything, so that's a possibility. I honestly don't know. It was a shock. Break is in control of the Twitter feed for RPGrinders, and they contacted Break on Twitter via the RPGrinders Twitter, and so that's where we stand. It's good. It should be a fun interview. The game looks great. I think we commented on it. Eric, looks really good. I mean, it's a traditional turn-based RPG, which is something that we may talk about. There's an interesting system, I think it's more of a philosophy type mechanic that's going on, because there's nihilism, existentialism, not Marxism, but what else did I see there? But it was sort of like...
Machiavellianism.
What's that?
Machiavellianism.
Yeah, Machiavellian.
Speak straight up evil.
Yeah. So there's lots to talk about with this game. It seems to be, I don't think overly ambitious, but I do think it's pretty ambitious of a game. But if you're just joining us, we haven't started yet. We're just waiting for Break to join. Later on in the show, we have Craig from Drop Bear Bites. You know what a drop bear is, Eric?
Based on the logo, I think it might be a slang for koala.
Well, it's sort of like breaks in chat. I wonder if there's oh yeah, no, Freak 5 mentioned Sid Haig died. That's definitely a stinko. I think we did talk about Sid Haig dying on last week's show, Freak 5. That was a terrible thing. really sudden too. I mean, I know he was older and stuff, but the way he died was just, oof, it's just rough. Break's having trouble with Skype. Let me see if there's any updates. No updates on my end, Break. So we'll just, no worries, Break, man. Just get here when you get here. But we're gonna have a stack show today. Might be a little shorter because we don't have a ton of news. Just waiting on Break. He's having Skype trouble apparently. Freak 5, let us know if you can hear us. Etc., etc. All that good fun stuff. Let's see if anybody else is in chat. I did see Freak in there. Looks like Bernie's in chat, of course, and Commander Root. Welcome on in. Restart maybe? I don't know. Breakman. He says fucking Skype hates him. He's sure of it. He says he knows it's an emotionless program.
It's like HAL in 2001.
Yep. HAL runs Skype. That's what I'm going to type to Break. But we're just waiting on Break. What is it? HAL 2000 or whatever? I think that's what.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Break.
Sorry.
It's all good. Today's going to be a fun show. We're going to have kind of a shorter, shorter show today because we're going to have Craig from Drop Bear Bites to talk about Broken Roads. It's a post-apocalyptic, traditional turn-based role-playing game, which we very rarely get to talk on the show, so that'll be quite refreshing. So yeah, should be interesting. Let's see. Freak 5, let us know if you can hear us. Maybe Freak isn't even listening. Not sure. Freak says, I'm picturing Break saying Skype the way the Titans said Slade and Teen Titans go to the movies. Oh boy. Okay, he can hear us. Okay, it's all good. Just waiting on Break. Let me know when you're ready, dude. Just typing away here. Sorry. I know this is scintillating radio. But anyways, I had a chance to watch the third episode of Creepshow, and it's everything it's hyped up to be. So, all right, let's give it a try. Let's see if we can get Break on the line here. Boom. So it's should be a good show, barring any audio problems. Break, do we have you?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So in about an hour or so, 50 minutes, we're gonna have Craig from Drop Bear Bites. I asked Eric this question. Break, do you know what a drop bear is?
No.
It's kind of it was an interesting story. I'll talk to Craig about it when we get there.
I saw that there was he was talking about that. So yeah, I didn't want to know. I wanted to find out.
Okay, then we will wait for the show. You guys ready to go?
I need to load news stories, but yeah.
It's only a couple, so I'll get it started and then...
Well, how the hell do we stall for an hour then?
Well, we got plenty of stuff, Stinkos. It might be a short show today because we got the interview coming up in about 50 minutes with Craig. So he's at PAX Australia. So, and Breakman, sincerely, I want you to do your best, Australian accent, so we can do the maximum.
They've already heard it. I don't.
But there's nothing like doing it live. You know what I'm saying? So that should be fun. I think it's going to be fun. We're going to have a ton of fun today. So without further ado, you guys ready to go?
Sure.
Yes, no, maybe so. All right, here we go. By the way, still waiting on permission. I'm getting very close to getting permission to do new intro and outro for the show. So that should be a ton of fun. So let's see. Yeah, Freak, everything looks good on my end. I don't know what's going on. It could be your connection. I'm not sure. Try refreshing or something. But here we go, guys. Welcome everybody to a haunted episode of RPGrinders, episode 561. I am your host, Frank Branches, alongside my trusty cohorts, Eric the Great, Breakman the Bold. Did you guys hear that? That was weird. Like, I hit a button and like our review cue went on. It sounded really kind of creepy. I don't know. I kind of liked it. But anyways, gentlemen, we got a big show today.
Old Break did say Skype was trying to kill him, so it's trying to communicate.
You know, it would be the day.
I didn't want to say that on the air.
Yeah.
I didn't want them to know.
Yeah.
But now they know that I know. Now I'm in more trouble.
They're out to get you. The Skype gremlins are out to get you, Breakman. It's going to be a huge show today. We got an interview with Craig from Drop Bear Bytes Studio. It's an interesting name for a video game company. We'll be talking to him about that and the upcoming game Broken Roads, which we commented on last week, Breakman. You and your awesome Australian kind of accent and all that stuff. But I don't know if you guys like had a chance to look at the trailer for the game, but it's a traditional turn-based RPG, which we hardly ever get anymore. So it's a post-apocalyptic. I hesitate.
Like Fallout, but like modern era.
Yeah, kind of a modern Fallout isometric type.
But what me and Frank were really interested was there were so many moral choices and stuff like that. It sounds like an adult video game, and that's something me and you scream for all the time.
We always talk about that, but we'll be talking about Craig a lot more in detail. We got him coming up in about 50 minutes or so. We'll get a hold of Craig and talk Broken Road. So it's going to be a fun show. We're going to have a good time today, I have a feeling.
Roads.
Yeah, Broken Roads.
Wait a minute, that's
Broken Roads. Oh, that's a different song. Sorry, I was thinking Country Roads. That's completely different. But without further ado, let's get into the news, guys. RPG News. All right, Eric, you got the first news story.
Okay, the first news story comes from RPG Site, and it's about how Dark Devotion for consoles has a release date. PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch on October 24th. Nothing about an Xbox One version, but I'm sure that will be coming sometime next year.
This game's been getting quite a bit of hype. The reviews are in. They seem slightly more favorable than not favorable, but for the people that can't see the trailer that are listening, it's basically I hate the term Souls-like, but it's the best way to describe this side-scroller.
I'm sure they took lessons from what the Death's Gambit tried to do and improved on it.
Yeah, it sort of reminds me of a Blasphemous, but maybe a bit harder. I don't know.
More pixely.
Yeah, definitely more pixely. Which the pixel art looks great on it, and it's if you like that kind of style of game, it looks like a go. I'm kind of looking forward to it. I think I'll catch it on the sale later on to give it a try. But man, it looks like a really tough game. It looks like the type of game that I would play for about maybe a couple hours and then decide that I'm not good enough to play. So there you go, which is probably like 90% of games out there. But
you can level up, right? Get stronger. Like that's part of the thing, right?
Yeah.
So why would you quit if you're getting stronger? That'd be.
Well, Blasphemous is more of a Metroidvania because there are no level ups, but
yeah.
But you can improve the strength of your weapon.
Yeah.
So there you go, Frank. Like that's still point like an old school RPG. You get stronger.
That is definitely my out, Breakman. Like if there's a chance that you can level up to kind of overpower your opponents, then I'm all for it. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. But if it's too much, it's just too much for me. I've learned over the years my limitations as a gamer. I'm no dungeon buster when it comes to gaming, or for that matter, Free 5.
We all know you failed at Kirby's Air Ride.
How do you fail at Kirby's Air Ride?
How dare you?
Frank did it.
How dare you, Breakman? I'll have you know that I was good at Kirby Air Ride. Okay, one button is all it took, and I did it. So there you go. Breakman, next story, please.
You know what? We talked more about that last story than they wrote about it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Anyway, next, coming to us live from let me see, Silicon Era, Corpse Party 2. A dead patient will get you. I'm sorry. Dead patient will let you check into its hospital on October 23rd, 2019. Yeah. So just in a couple weeks, a long-awaited Corpse Party game is finally rising up to join the living. I like this writer. This is Jenny again. I like it. Yeah. Corpse Party 2 Dead Patient is about to make its PC debut. XC Games will bring it to Humble Store, GOG, and Steam on October 23rd. Well, I just fucking said that. It will be $9.99, £8.99, or €9.99. Though a 10% discount will be going on through the 29th. How come it's not going on until the Halloween? What the hell?
I don't know.
Corpse Party 2 Dead Patient stars Ayame, a young woman who finds herself just a typo there, finds herself trapped in Amare Patriarcha Cruxus Hospital. I can see that happening on like today's modern spell checks. Like they like the word correctness.
Yeah.
When we make one typo, they'll give us the wrong word, and then they don't notice it.
I hate that shit, man.
So you get a word to spell right, just not the right word at all.
Yeah, for sure.
Though she's not the only one, as some familiar faces from the past games may appear, it is up to players to try and help her find out what is going on and escape. Ayame's story kicks off a whole new...
It's Ayame.
I said that.
You said Ayame.
Ayame, sorry. Stories kick off a whole new original adventure in the same world with more chapters promised. That's cool.
Yeah.
This isn't the only entry in the series to appear in October 2019. Another Corpse Party game has just appeared on new platforms, Corpse Party Blood Drive. Direct sequel to Corpse Party and Corpse Party Book of Shadows. Which is a direct sequel to Corpse Party or Corpse Party Book of Shadows?
I think it's Book of Shadows, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
Shame on her. It's now available on Nintendo Switch and PC. It is... Yumi Shinozaki decides to return to Heavenly Host Elementary to attempt to undo every tragedy that happened to the people she loved in the first game. That sounds like a Heavenly Host Elementary School. That definitely sounds like a school in Ohio. It's $19.99 American dollars, £17.99, or €19.99. And there's a 10% discount through the 16th, so just 5 more days.
Yeah.
And there
technically, Blood Corpse Dead Patient is episode 1, so you're only getting the first episode because they decided to make it an episodic, and they haven't done episode 2 through whatever yet.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, that's kind of ooh.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't get completed. That's risky.
And the first episode took a long time to come to the West because it had a bunch of bugs that they had to fix.
Well, that sucks. Shame on them and their bugs. Were they bed bugs or?
I just hope all the technical problems of Blood Drive have been excised in the PC and Switch releases. It kind of sucks because I didn't even know about the Switch release until it launched on the PC. So I got a PC code, so now I have to edit my my submission from a request and hope they give me a Switch version as well.
Yeah, hopefully they do, man. That'd be nice. The Corpse Party games are freaky, to say the least. Eric, I can't think of very many more games that get under your skin like the Corpse Party game. So,
but I also need to play Book of Shadows and the Hachiko's Sadistic Birthday or whatever it was called, Hysteric Birthday.
Yeah.
I can't wait till they make Corpse Party dating simulator.
You want to date a corpse, Break?
No, that's the dating simulator. Like never mind.
Freak5 says, not sure if you talked about it last week, but Elder Scrolls Online has an event going on. Every 5 dragons you kill, they donate $1 to an animal shelter. So that's really neat.
Murderer.
Yeah. How dare you kill those dragons, Freak5?
Virtual dragon murder.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
It's like whale clubbing, but for dragons.
Whale clubbing. So that's the news this week. Shortened news cycle.
No, that's whale killing and seal clubbing. That's right.
Yeah. No homie discounts this week, unless you guys have anything that you came across. Did either of you come across anything super special regarding that?
The only thing I know is Xbox will be giving out it's next week, Friday the 13th.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so let's move on.
Oh, God, here it comes.
Yep.
No, I wasn't talking about that.
You weren't talking about that?
No.
Oh, MXT's here.
Yeah, that.
MXT is in chat. He says, I'm here to make grinders great again. We were never not great, MXT. How dare you? You're exiled. See, he just gets in and he gets exiled. But Dear Breakman, do we have anything in the Dear Breakman segment?
Mm-hmm. Dear Breakman. What are you about to say, Eric?
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
He's like, nothing.
We do have a Dear Breakman. The first time in a long time. This comes from Bernie at RPGrinders. If you had to pick a fetish, what would it be? Let's see how dirty the grinders get, Dear Breakman.
Oh, look at this.
Well, that's not really advice. That's more like just asking us well, I guess you could ask our opinion too. Yeah, you don't really always have to ask advice. But,
right.
So we only get one fetish, basically.
Like sexual fetish, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not some other weird, like, you like the taste of chalk or some shit. No.
Yeah.
Sex fetish.
Or like you like to put cotton on the top of your head, or stupid shit like that. Okay, Eric. Let's start with Eric. If you had to pick a fetish, what would it be?
I'm refraining.
That's no fun.
Okay.
I'm gonna start by eliminating fetishes. Let me see here.
Okay.
Diaper wearing fetishes.
Okay. What about foot fetish?
Yes, that can be eliminated too. Good call, Frank.
All right.
We got rid of two bad ones. Right away.
Oh, right
awesome.
on. Yeah.
Piss fetish or not? Like piss and shit fetish.
Yeah. I'm definitely not into either of those things for sure. But that more power to the people that are into that type of stuff.
And like the people who are into urine play, like, okay, you're fine, you don't bother me. But the people who are in the shit play, like, you get away from me. Like, what? No.
You could get really sick from that shit, literally.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Like, from what I've heard, I guess from what I've heard on Howard Stern, like, they have to take medicine to be able to do that.
Oof. Yeah.
It's like the shit eaters.
Oh,
there's
God.
special medicine they need to take. Yeah.
Yeah.
A fart fetish. Freaks adding gross ones to it.
I got breaking news here.
What's that?
Apparently, there's going to be a vinyl record the Mega Man 1 through 11 collection.
Oh,
Yeah, I saw that earlier today.
Nice. So, you've eliminated some, Breakman.
It's vinyl records.
MXT says Frank's fetish is bathing in a tub full of oatmeal and Donald Trump pictures. How dare you? You're exiled again. Are you trying to beat Freak Five's record?
So like you get like paper cuts from the pictures, and then you get the oatmeal in your wounds or something.
God,
that sounds brutal.
MXT.
I'm pretty sure that I get more than enough mental trauma just from the pictures of Donald Trump only. and then in my haste to throw them away, then I get the paper cuts, right?
Oh God, yeah, exactly. So you've eliminated some, Breakman. Any more you want to eliminate before we get?
Well, I know I can eliminate some more, but I'm thinking if I had to only pick one, like there's.
Yeah.
But we should talk about the good fetishes. Let me see what are good fetishes.
What about tickle fetish, Breakman? You into tickling?
No.
No. Yeah, me neither.
Tickle my penis, maybe not. And by tickle, I mean like.
Boiling is a fetish.
What about food play? Are you into like food and stuff like that?
No, I think food should not be in the bedroom. I know there are a lot of people that like it, but
I guess it kind of depends on what type of food, right? Like if you're talking like chocolate syrup or honey or that shit gets like real
I guess
smell.
I guess like chocolate syrup would be okay, and maybe like Cool Whip would be okay, but like anything else is just I don't know. Even still, like I just no.
Yeah.
I don't want all that sticky stuff on.
I hear ya.
You're a fuck you. Kick Freak from chat now. Get him out of here. His word horrible. No, I'm not even saying the horrible word.
Freak 5 says little person fetish. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
and he says. And Freak 5
the one before it.
Freak 5 says his favorite is sounding.
Why did you have to say it?
What? I give the people what they want to break, you know?
Oh God.
All right. So
I can't okay. Let me see here. What other fetishes are really good?
Freak 5 likes pegging too. Just
pegging
just
fetish.
Yeah.
Okay. That's nice to know. He didn't say that, so I'm wondering how you know.
Well, I mean, that was what was implied, right? That's where he was going next.
Now, what about a planking sex fetish?
Oh God, planking.
That sounds weird.
It does sound weird.
What about like a lingerie fetish, like a stocking fetish, something like that?
Oh, okay. Okay, so you're like a leg person with the stockings.
Like a schoolgirl. Oh yeah, see, Mrs. Breakman gets me. Miss Schoolgirl.
Fetish.
Oh, there's. You know what, Breakman? That's a great one.
Cosplaying as the Power Rangers then? Exclusively.
Power Rangers fetish. Tall women. Freak 5 says.
There has to be somebody for Power Rangers fetish. There has to be.
Yeah.
They have to dress up as the various characters from Power Rangers when they sex.
They will only have sex with the Pink Ranger.
I know. I was gonna say if they're dressed up like the Pink Ranger, I'm good with that. But you brought up something interesting. What about like chicks that dress up as nuns and like schoolgirls?
I'm not really. The nun thing isn't. No.
The nun thing is hot.
The deal for most people is the dominating the nun part.
I love the nun thing.
I think because I'm not Catholic. If I was Catholic, maybe I'd have some sort of fetish like that.
But it like ties into the corruption fetish because they're fucking a nun and they're corrupting the nun.
I had a great aunt that was a nun, so like I just this nun thing is never like it's never.
Oh man, some of the nun pictures I've seen, Breakman. I mean, it might change your mind.
I don't like the sexy nurse thing too.
Oh,
but
I like
there
that.
are a lot of costumes out there that make anything look sexy. Like there's a Mr. Rogers outfit now, like sexy outfit.
Really? I haven't
seen
that
yet?
No, I have not seen that.
Oh, you need to Google that and put it on the screen for everyone to see, Frank.
Yeah. You know what? I should let me look that up while you.
Like women in a police uniform. That's not bad. Like
Wait, there was a nun at the Ghost concert.
There was a nun at the Ghost. Although she wasn't.
Sexy nun, no.
She wasn't very hot, but I'm just saying.
Was she into the music? Is she there for it?
Ooh, look at this. Oh, wow. I like this sexy nun. I'm going to put these. I can put these on screen because there's like no nudity and stuff like that. So, but I do like the this nun outfit. It's actually kind of modest for a nun outfit, but looks cool. There's the
sexy Mr. Rogers outfit.
I don't see that, but let me
look. You gotta look harder. Like oh yeah, like there are definitely some like outfits that are really high. Yeah, not just these, but maybe like some of the superhero outfits, for instance, back when they like they were not hiding misogyny one bit, you know.
Yeah, I see this one. It's called it's from Yandy.com.
Yeah,
Nicest neighbor costume. So it is. It's kind of Mr. Rogers.
It's the sexy that. Mr. Rogers. There, it's "Won't you be my neighbor" is the first line when they talk about it.
Yeah,
like, this is their sexy Mr. Rogers outfit. And
wow.
Yeah,
wow.
I agree. Sexy outfit.
That's very sexy. I
See, they can make anything sexy at this point. So yeah, you gotta be.
Like what else?
Are you all right? You dying?
Yeah, you're not gonna die.
I have to cough occasionally because I'm still not quite over my cold.
Okay, so we gotta pick one fetish here. Quickly, Breakman. Your fetish.
Wait, why do we have to do it quickly? I was enjoying this.
I was quite enjoying it too, man. But we got a half an hour before we have our big interview.
So it comes with the puppets. That's nice.
It does come with the puppets, man.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very fantastic. Okay, well, what other fetishes are really good? Like, come on, Frank, you haven't made any suggestions. I'm doing all the work here.
I'm just gonna stick with the cosplay one, like anything cosplay. Like if somebody wants to wear.
I mean, that's a good one. So I don't want you're using that one. Let me think of something else then.
Yeah.
An oral fetish.
Like which way? Like male on female or female on male or both?
Give and receive, like an oral fetish, man. Okay. You gotta enjoy it.
I think that's kind of a cop out, Breakman, but I'll let you slide, man.
What, you think that's a cop out? How is that a cop out?
Because fetish, like it has to be something
because you're saying it's a normal activity.
Yeah, that's like normal. You know what I mean? Like,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Like how about whip?
How about a role play fetish?
Well, I kind of said that.
He kind of did that with because he's got the cosplay outfits. He kind of did that one. So,
well, I mean, you don't necessarily have to role play when you're wearing the outfit, though.
Well, that's true. I guess.
True, but how about a flashing fetish?
Whoa! Like female flashing male?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Like that's my fetish. Women flashing in public.
I love that too. It very rarely happens even at concerts anymore. I've noticed.
I don't I'm not really into that. I'm just saying this is the one I'm choosing.
I like that. That's not a bad one at all, man. That's
I mean, it can be cool, but Freak says BDSM. I guess we're not all at all surprised.
Yeah. That's not a bad one either, Freak 5, as long as it's done responsibly. Some of the videos I've seen, I think, take it way too far, you know. But
tying her up, having your way with her, leaving, coming back later, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, or the other way around, you know, like dominant, submissive type stuff. Yeah.
Nope.
Okay.
No, Frank. No.
I'm just saying.
I'm a giver, not a receiver.
Okay, I think we settled that issue pretty much. That was a great question by Bernie.
I want to think of another one. I like that. I don't want to flash.
No, you're stuck with the flashing one. You said it.
Public nudity in general. How about that?
Okay, all right. You know, it's. I meant to mention this. I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but it's illegal in Colorado for women to go topless now. So,
nice.
Yeah. So you can go topless in public.
There are places in Ohio where it's legal, not the entire state, and like I think New York, it's in the entire state.
Yeah.
Was that done primarily to allow breastfeeding though?
Maybe, but it's perfectly legal now. So if you want to walk around with, you know,
it's more about being fair. I mean, honestly, even though like men are attracted and we're probably gonna stare for a while, it's gonna be hard not to look.
Right.
But like. I mean, men go shirtless all the time.
Yeah, Freak Five says,
and a lot of the men going shirtless, you don't want to go
MXT's
shirtless. You know what I mean?
yeah.
MXT's not wrong. Ohio isn't a state; it's a Commonwealth.
Yeah. Break gives head.
They just call it a state because it's big enough to be a state.
Freak Five is clearing up something for you, Break. He says Break gives head.
So is Rhode Island. So
Break gives head. He doesn't receive it. So there you go.
Right. For money.
Yeah.
Which is funny because Rhode Island actually is a state.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on, guys, because we gotta kind of pick up the pace here. So.
Inquiring minds want to know.
What have you been playing, Break?
Me, most of the Master Chief Collection this week. I beat the second game, and then I started playing the third game, which is it's a little bit weird going to the third game and it not look as good as the game I was just playing, the second game, because it was the remake.
Okay,
but it's still like looks not that bad over the years. Like Halo 3's aged pretty well, I think.
Yeah. The first couple, like even Halo 2's kind of aged quite a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah,
like,
the remake, it looks amazing.
Wow. Yeah. I haven't checked out any of the remake stuff, so that's really cool.
Yeah, the remakes are really cool because there's a one button you just press it and it instantly switches between old graphics and new graphics, even for the cutscenes.
Ooh, that's really cool. That's a nice feature.
Wait, so they actually did remaster Halo 3?
No, Halo 2.
Oh.
First and second one, not the third one. That's what I'm saying. The remastered Halo 2 looks so good that now that I'm playing the third one, it's a downgrade. Like you can notice it's a downgrade, but still, graphic-wise, I think it still holds up fairly well. I don't think the third one looks that bad, but the second one just looked really great. So
yeah. Anything else you've been playing, Break?
Just South Park and Final Fantasy on the phone. The stuff, my addictions I must feed every day because of the free stuff they give me.
Yeah, like
log in, get my free stuff.
Yeah, the same thing with Marvel Puzzle Quest. I just mostly play it to get the free stuff, but I hear you, man. Also been playing a little bit of Talos Principle. I'm almost done with the game. I know I say that every fucking week, but I feel like I'm getting really close to the end, so hopefully have a review.
An end? I thought gacha games didn't end.
No, not Marvel Puzzle Quest.
Oh, maybe that's his problem. Maybe he's not gonna.
Talos Principle.
That's why you can't get to the end. There is none.
Son of a bitch! You guys, I'm walking off this show.
Talos. I gotta be. This gotta be after this next boss.
How dare you?
Okay, seriously, a year later. No, seriously, I've killed everything else. There can't be anything else past this.
Yeah,
no. Why won't this game end?
Yeah, no. There is no end to Marvel Puzzle Quest, but I'm talking about Talos Principle, Eric.
Oh.
So, all right, what have you been playing, Eric?
More Orlando Detective Mysteria, and this one needs to be removed. And I played a little bit of Alliance Alive HD. I've also been primarily playing a game that's still embargoed, so I can't talk about it yet.
All right, okay, no problem.
And I finally completed it. It's gonna take people 140 hours to completely finish.
Wow.
A little bit more if you somehow screw up and miss something and have to do a second playthrough. Oof. Well, you probably have to do that anyways because you want to beat the game on Nightmare mode to unlock the final trophy.
140 hours for embargo. That's really cool. Looking forward to that, Eric. When you can talk about that, but
I really can't wait for the fourth game.
Yeah. Well, let's move on then. I'm not sure if you have any reviews, Break, but let me go ahead and start the reviews.
RPGrinders reviews.
All right, let me do mine real quick, Eric, so I can give you time to do yours. Watch the third episode of Creepshow. It's great. They've been bringing it every single episode. There's 2 stories to each episode, which I mentioned last week. So check it out. It's on Shudder. The service is worth it. I think it's like $5-6 a month, but it's well worth it if you're a horror fan. Creepshow's on there, and there's a bunch of other series and podcasts and a treasure trove of movies, and I can't say enough about Shudder, so make sure you check that out. Also I had an opportunity to see Doom Annihilation. Let me just put it this way. I think it may have been, like, I have to watch the old Doom first. It's slightly better, but it's still an abomination. It's a terrible movie. I can't give it much more than a 3 out of 10. It's not worth your time. I just thought I'd pick it up since it was video gaming related and give me a review to do that's sort of video gamey related. The story is actually closer to kind of the game with like demons and a portal and stuff like that, but there's no name actors in it. It's not really well directed. It's kind of a B movie, but without the B movie charm. So I guess rent it at your own peril. It's not very good.
B movies used to be great, like back in the Rutger Hauer days, man. Like these movies weren't supposed to be good, but they'd get guys like Rutger Hauer and make them fucking awesome.
Yeah,
I thought Annihilation was just a Netflix thing.
No, I got it at the Red Box. So if you want to take that plunge, Dungeon says thanks for. Yeah, thanks for taking the hit. I didn't even know Annihilation was out. Honestly, don't bother with it. It's not even worth a Redbox rental. It's one of those movies that if you happen to catch on like on like Cinemax or something, if you have a subscription and it happens to be on, give it a watch, but it's really not that good. Welcome on in, Dungeon. Also welcome to Angel of Light and Alfred Judo Cuss 817. Welcome on in to chat. Appreciate you joining in. Dungeon says it's so Rutger Hauer. Blind Fury is awesome, man. Blind Fury was a great movie, man. I love that movie. And that movie had no business being good, Blind Fury. But it was, obviously Rutger Hauer, But, so there you go. All right, Eric.
Is Blind Fury an old movie?
Yes, it's like what would
early
like
90s, late 80s type
maybe
movie?
like 91.
Is it streaming anywhere?
That I don't know, Eric. But it's worth watching. It's I think it was like 91. Yeah.
Yeah, I think around that year. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to.
Does anybody watch the Zatoichi movies?
Which one?
Any of them?
Like name.
I need names. I have no idea who those are.
Yeah,
that is.
Yeah, if you could name me like one of the popular ones, I may have.
1989.
Yeah.
That's why
the name of the movie is called Zatoichi, so it's like.
Oh no! Okay, I have not.
Yeah, I have not either, Eric. All right, Eric. Let's move on to your reviews.
Anyways, I got a review for Happy Death Day to You and Steven Universe, the movie. And I guess Steven Universe, the series, but I might hold off on that because even though technically the series is over and there's only going to be like 6 episodes of like epilogue mini series, so that's probably only going to be like 6 episodes long. So I'll just wait until that, but I'll do the movie for now. But
okay.
Happy Death Day to You is the sequel to Happy Death Day.
Yeah.
And it's a direct sequel, and it deals with the fact that they basically tried to explain away what happened in the first movie by saying that this other kid at the college, as a project, accidentally made a machine that messed with quantum physics and ended up getting her stuck in a time loop.
Yeah.
And a version of itself comes to that present and tries to kill him to somehow undo it, even though I think he was mistaken and it wouldn't have worked anyway. But also there's a big plot hole there because apparently the way that the time travel works in this movie is that the 2 people can't exist in the same place at once, so they kind of didn't explain that at all in the movie. But maybe that will get explained in the next one if they do another one. But
is it like the time cop thing? Like they can't touch each other, or are they just not even allowed to be close to one another?
No, they're just not allowed to be there. Period. Like even if you tried to go in another space that they existed in, it would correct itself so that wouldn't happen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Dungeon says 2 people can't exist in the same place at once. Is this Time Cop? Yeah, exactly.
But so I think they were trying to do like a Looper reference, and it kind of didn't work. But whatever. Yeah. But anyways, she gets stuck in another day loop. But this time she was thrown into an alternate reality version of herself, so things are changed up a bit. Now she has to figure out who's trying to kill, not her, but actually someone else. She just ends up dying a lot trying to figure it out.
She's not very good at it, is she?
No, did you see the first Happy Death Day? Okay, you got to see the first one, Break. It's actually...
she also needs to figure out how to get back to her own timeline.
Yeah. The way the first movie worked, the first movie played out more like a horror movie. The second one is more like sci-fi. It's more like sci-fi comedy horror movie. I don't know.
Also, the end of the movie basically is a big Scream 2 reference.
Yeah.
It's like, you thought this was the villain? Oh no, they're the villain.
Yeah.
Bye, supposed first villain.
Yeah, it's. I liked it a lot. I saw it. You should watch the first one too, Breakman. They're actually really fun movies. And it's sort of one of those like date movies that you could probably watch with Mrs. Breakman, and it'd be fun for both of you guys.
And the ending's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
It does the whole Marvel like mid-credit sequence thing.
Yeah. I like the first movie.
Stick around for that.
I think I gave the first movie like an 8 out of 10, and I give this one like also an 8 out of 10. I liked it.
The same score.
Yeah, I like it quite a bit, Eric. As far as sequels go, I thought it was a pretty good sequel. I mean, plot holes aside, like you don't get very many sequels that kind of equal the first one. But there is a lot of good comedy to be had in those movies, and it's an enjoyable experience. I like it quite a bit. I'd recommend you watch it, Break. It's fun. I think you and Mrs. Breakman would actually have a lot of fun watching both of those movies. So you're giving it an 8 out of 10, Eric?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, man. Let's see. Let me catch up on chat. Let's see. Going back, Dungeon says Blind Fury needed an NES game, but not by LGN. Yeah, exactly.
Well, if you played NES, a lot of the games you just get a black screen because they weren't working. There you go. There's Blind Fury.
Every game was Blind Fury back in the day.
Yeah, the 72-pin connector that was garbage is the Blind Fury inducer.
Yeah.
I really, really hate that I didn't learn until I was an adult that label on the back that's like, do not put alcohol on this fucking was the total lie, because that's the only thing that actually fixes it.
Yeah, exactly.
Get some alcohol on a Q-tip and rub off
it doesn't fix it. It actually makes it worse, but it does alleviate the problem somewhat.
Yeah. Freak says...
I don't know how it makes it worse. It doesn't always
because it erodes the metal, that's why. It slowly erodes the metal the more you keep doing it.
If you do it a lot, yeah, but you shouldn't have to do it a lot.
Yeah, just clean it.
The way it is, if you clean it like once, you shouldn't have to clean it again for a long time.
Yeah, for sure. Freak said he liked Happy Death Day to You. I think we're in agreement, Freak 5. I liked that movie quite a bit. It took kind of a sci-fi turn for the second one, which I didn't mind at all. I like the direction that... I hope they do make a sequel. I don't know if it was you, Eric, that said if they make a sequel they can address some issues, but I do. I hope they make a third one. Okay.
Steven Universe, the movie. This is basically a send-off of the Steven Universe storyline, a show that was on Cartoon Network for like at least 5 years, I think. And it's a show about a kid named Steven Universe who has a very interesting origin, because he's the byproduct of what's an alien race known as the Gems. One of them went to Earth and shacked up with a guy, and like I'm guessing that they couldn't reproduce normally. So basically, what she did was that she took some of his DNA and basically fused with it and created a new life form. That was Steven. But she had to give up her own life to do this.
Oof. Okay. All right.
So he's basically his mother, but at the same time he isn't. And so he's got a gem, and he's basically the same as they are, but he can do things that they can't because he's half human. But
it's like the alien from Enemy Mine.
But anyways, he protects the Earth from the other gems because they're part of an empire that basically just conquers worlds, and the whole show is about him trying to get them to stop fighting.
Yeah.
And it's a really cute show for kids. But this movie is almost 2 hours long, so it's a full movie. It's not like we're gonna call this movie, but it's only gonna be an hour long. So it's too bad they didn't show it in theaters. Maybe they did, and it was not anywhere nearby. But it's almost a 2 hour long musical. So there's musical interludes every 5 to 10 minutes, depending on what's going on. But the songs are cute, just like the show, and it takes place 2 years after the end of the series. And he's 16 now, and he's trying to find a.
Please tell me his voice is cracking.
No, it's deeper.
Oh.
It's not cracking.
Oh, it's just deeper, like they missed a cracking period. Damn, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird, because like his growth was stunted for a while because of his half-gem hybridness. But, and then he just shot up like a weed, and we didn't need to see it, unfortunately. But I'm gonna give this an 8 as well.
Okay, not bad.
There's a new villain, and the villain, well, like most of the villains in the show, becomes a friend at the end. But they remind me of like,
so what's Steven Goku?
I guess kind of. He's like the anti-Goku though, because instead of fighting, he just makes friends. And Goku makes friends because he fights.
Oh no, he beats their ass, and then they like him after he beats their ass.
It's sort of like when you get in a fight as a kid, you know, and then like you become best friends with.
It's
with
true. I had that experience too. Like I became really close to the guy. I mean, like we hated each other, and then we fought, and then afterwards it's like, hey.
But,
Hey, we're friends now.
I'll be back with Steven Universe review in total for the series once
Cool.
the epilogue series is done.
Cool. Just waiting on Craig. He just contacted me. He's looking for a quieter spot, he says. So we'll be having that interview here any second now. I'm just waiting on him to let me know. In the meantime, did anybody have a heistcapade this week?
No, I did want to review the Legion TV show though.
Okay, if you can do that.
Yeah, just a real quick review on it. It's the weirdest, most mind-bending show I've ever seen and enjoyed. In each episode, some episodes you had no idea what the fuck was going on.
My thought was derailed earlier, but the villain reminded me kind of a Cuphead character.
Okay. All right, Break, continue on.
It's got that era vibe to it.
Since my thought was revealed, what you know what I meant, derailed.
About your episodes, the episodes.
Yeah, Legion, yeah. They're mind-bending episodes. It's based on the story of Charles Xavier's son, and the show centers around whether he is crazy or not, basically.
Okay, all right.
And since it's about, like, in the mind, like, a lot of the episodes are just freaky mind fucks, and I give it a 10. I fucking love the show.
Wow.
It's definitely not for everyone though.
Okay.
So is the show over, or is it the season?
Yeah, it's over. No, it's over. Like it was a 3-season show.
Wow.
So it has a beginning, a middle, and an end, like a definite ending, and everything's wrapped up really nicely and stuff like that.
Okay. All right. That's cool. 10 out of 10. I think that's the first 10 you've given for anything, Break. So that's
No, I've given 10s before. Just it's been a while.
I don't remember any 10s.
But it's like I said, this show is not for everybody. Like it's definitely mind fuck. But the acting is so good in it. Like the guy who plays David Haller and Audrey Plaza, like fantastic.
Does it have like Silent Hill vibes to it?
No, it's more of a fun show, but it's it's around superheroes, and like I said, it's based on Xavier's kid. Basically, the basic story plot is the show starts out with him in a mental hospital, and he meets a woman, and he starts to fall in love with her, and she's a mutant too, but they don't know that they're mutants. He hears voices, for instance, and like that. From there, like you find out that his head has been later in the show. Or later in the series, I think later in that first season, you find out that his father Xavier went to fight the Shadow King and beat him. And the Shadow King, in retaliation, when he was knocked from his body, didn't die. Instead, he followed Charles and invaded Charles' son. And so he went to live in his son's head for 30 years, and it's whether that made him crazy, is he crazy, and such like that, and it's just so cool. They have so much fun. They'll break out into songs for instance for no real reason, but it's not like just like a musical song. They'll break out into songs singing like The Who, for instance.
Okay.
So they're singing like classic rock songs,
Okay. I think we're ready to get Craig on the line. Sorry to cut you off there, Break, but we got to get this. So here we go. Let's call Craig from Drop Bear Bite Studios, the studio that's doing the new Broken Roads game. So here we go. Sorry for the Skype interlude here. I always hate that. Craig, do we have you?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, it's Craig from Drop Bear Bite Studios. You're live on the air with Frank. I'm Frank. We got Breakman and Eric. Do you hear us okay, Craig?
Yeah, I hear you just fine.
Okay, perfect.
Let me just say that if I knew that the developers were actually going to hear this show, I would have not have used a fake accent.
Yeah.
In my defense, like I would have done behind your back.
It was amazing, and we all had a good laugh.
Yeah, it was probably I from accent standpoint, Craig, what do you give like out of 10 Breakman's fake Australian accent?
I'd probably have to give it a perfect 10 as a fake Australian accent, as a real Australian accent. It's pretty awful.
I love it.
I'm not even Australian myself. I'm South African, so I'd probably do, even worse than he has.
Well, you guys all sound the same to us over here. We're,
I did not say that. That was Frank.
That's all good.
All your hate mail to @FrankBranches.
Right. Right. The game in question is Broken Roads. It's from everything that I gather, it's a post-apocalyptic. I don't want to say like Mad Maxian because I don't want to pigeonhole that game into that whole kind of genre of things. And I definitely don't want to offend with that because when I hear Mad Maxian, it kind of turns me off. Not even as an Australian. So, can you describe the game for us, Craig, and what you guys are up to over at Drop Bear?
Yeah, sure. Well, look, it's post-apocalyptic, and I mean, Mad Max kind of set the tone for that. It's kind of what Lord of the Rings is for fantasy. I think you're never going to get away from some of the stuff that Mad Max did, especially because it is Australian as well.
Yeah.
When you're sort of defining the brand, we're sitting somewhere between the first Mad Max movie and the Road Warrior, the second Mad Max movie, just in terms of how far gone society is and what sort of level of savagery people are at. But we're not just post-nuclear. We have a background where it's, think of if you had a decision tree for the next, say, few generations and humans just made the worst choice at every possible turn. Environmental disaster, financial collapse, political extremism, rising sea levels, overpopulation, and eventually, war that led to nuclear war. So we got
this is real life then?
Yeah, this
exactly.
is.
It's just a documentary,
Yeah,
a video game.
I was going to say.
based
So
on
this is
observation.
like the United States right now, Craig. I
Like
mean,
you
like,
went to the future and you found out what the future would be, and this is like
This is like 5 days in the future.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Part of our story is that the extreme left and the extreme right in America caused a second American Civil War, and that gives rise to sort of bolsters on political extremists in other countries. So you sort of get these two dominating far left, far right ideologies, and other major nations follow suit, and that's what leads to the nuclear war. So this is very much like based on observation stuff that we're seeing in the world. Like let's just extrapolate to the worst degree.
Yeah.
So it very much just results in a breakdown of government and financial institutions, and there's no centralized infrastructure, there's no running water, there's no electricity. You may have seen in the artwork and in the trailer that everyone's sort of hooking up jury-rigged solar panels and that kind of thing. But there is some semblance of infrastructure going, but nothing centralized and so on.
Is there a currency?
Yeah, we're just using the Australian dollar, just the dollar coins, because the coins would survive. And it's just, we wanted to look around, bottle cap's great idea, it's been done, and maybe we could find something a little bit more
Coins make
deep
sense,
into the lore of
though,
it. Yeah, I mean, look, they would survive, and they units of like $1 and $2 coins we've got over here. So, it saves us a bit of dev time not having to come up with something other than a currency that people already understand.
Sure.
So,
Right. Bottle cap's been stolen, like you said, so it's kind of hard to think of anything else.
Yeah, it's a great idea, and well done Fallout for getting there first.
Yeah.
So and look, it's set about 100 years in the future. It begins in a small town in Western Australia, just east of Perth. Every location in the game is going to be based on a real place in Western Australia. I flew over there, took a drive around, took a lot of photos, sent the photos to the art team. So when you run past buildings or you go into the pub or past that old abandoned hotel, those are real buildings that I shot photos of, and the art team has kind of painted our style over.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting the same team that worked on the Shadowrun series,
Sure.
Mighty Vertex. They are producing the isometric art that you can see in game, all sticking to our art director and lead artist Kirsten Evans, following her sort of painterly big brushstroke style. And the Mighty Vertex team have done a fantastic job of adapting to that style. They're all huge fans of the Fallout series. They know all the sort of technical requirements from working on the Shadowrun games.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing a few different things from a technical standpoint in terms of projecting them onto 3D models, so we can have dynamic lighting, and characters can run behind what is essentially a PNG with a transparency that's we're doing some VFX over it, and real lighting and so forth. So yeah, that combination of tech and beautiful art is something we're really, really proud of, how quickly it's come together, because the concept for the game only came to us in January. Like development didn't start until within the last 6 months or so, after a little bit of pre-production.
Yeah.
So the pace that the team has worked at and the results thus far, we're incredibly proud of.
The artwork is something to behold. There's no question about that. I kind of want to ask you about the general direction of the game to begin with. Was it a conscious decision to go with a more of a traditional turn-based RPG feel? We talk about it here on the show all the time, like how traditional turn-based games are kind of going by the wayside for more modern type sensibilities. So can you talk to us a little bit about that decision?
Yeah, look, 100%. Like, my favorite game of all time is Baldur's Gate 2. I'm from the Fallout 1 and 2 tradition, going as far back as, say, the Ultima games and the Gold Box D&D games by SSI. Like, I just love the combat in those games. Like, it's still good today. That sort of grid-based strategic combat. And then, you get games like Shadowrun who've done brilliant things. We love, the XCOM series in terms of their tactical combat there.
Mm-hmm.
But, I knew it was going to be an isometric RPG. Like, if I was going to do an RPG, it's going to be the fixed camera, traditional style. I think you can do so much with it. I love what Obsidian and In Exile have been doing. I love the fact Microsoft have bought them and giving them more prominence and putting more money into this specific style of game.
Mm-hmm.
So no, that's if I was going to make a game and it's an RPG, like, this is the style. You're looking at exactly what what we had in mind from the beginning.
Yeah, I think it's actually a really solid choice. Like that's, I guess, the way to kind of separate yourself nowadays from a lot of the pack is to do something old school, but bring it modern. Something that Breakman and I both noticed when we saw the trailer last time was your kind of morality mechanic. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because that's, I think that's one of the more kind of compelling things to Broken Roads.
Cool. Well, yeah, look, we're calling it the moral compass. Sort of influenced by my background. I studied undergraduate in philosophy. I did 2 postgraduate degrees in philosophy. I can't believe that it hasn't been more explored in games.
Yeah.
The thought experiments, the kind of moral dilemmas. I think that the RPG genre it's so perfect. Like especially these isometric style games for creating the same scenario. You sit in a philosophy seminar and they say, look, imagine there's a train running down a track. Do you leave it to run over some people, or do you pull a handle knowing it's going to kill some people but slightly fewer? Like, does your inaction make you responsible? Like that, those kinds of things. I'm just going there's so many like this that we could explore. And I thought, how can we do something different to the sort of light side, dark side dichotomy? Like Star Wars is great, but you've got this still a linear spectrum between 2 poles. The Dungeons and Dragons alignment system, you can still do things that are not really in line with what you think your character's alignment would be. So you can be like, I'm going to take the good option for this quest, but it looks like the bad reward here is better, so I'm going to be immediately evil like the next quest. So I thought, well, what if we did like something that each of your decisions had a very gradual shift? So if you look at the moral compass, there's a golden arc, which is your worldview, and that broadens or narrows, depending on how many decisions you make of a particular, in one of the different philosophical quadrants that are in there. And as you choose things that are on sort of the fringes of your worldview, it'll rotate left or right ever so slightly. And then when you're in dialogue, there's a lot of neutrals. Hey, I'm going to buy a loaf of bread. It's not a moral decision. But there's a lot of moral choices in the game that will become available to your character based on what they've done before. So you don't choose an alignment, and that's you. You choose an alignment at the beginning by answering, say, 10, what's your stance on these 10 moral dilemmas as part of character creation. And then as you go through the game, how you act shifts, ever so slowly your worldview until you could start a particular way, and the kind of situations that humans be exposed to in a desperate, desolate future. You may have to make some choices that are, kind of abhorrent, and you see where your morality shifts because you made decisions that you had to.
So you can start as like a hero and then have fall, basically fall to the dark side.
Pretty much,
That's pretty awesome.
We're also not, we're doing some things are just shitty and evil, but we're trying to move away from good and evil. We're just going for hey, these are entirely valid ways of being in the world. Like these are entirely justifiable choices. Sometimes you're being a dickhead and you're being selfish and whatever, and other times it's like, look, I had to make a tough choice, and we are going to make it hard for our players at times, because I think that makes those memorable moments. And also, look, obviously this is a big goal, is to make it very, very replayable. So the moral compass has 360 degrees around and 0 to 100 for every point along each degree. So there's 36,000 possible places that a decision point can be. And the algorithm of moving and shifting your moral compass is based upon your character's current distance from the decision. So it's like totally dynamic. It's really smooth, and it allows so many ways of going through the game.
So you're saying the choices would be more like, say, whether to steal food from somebody who might be starving, but you need to steal food to feed your kid because your kid will starve, I think.
That kind of, that's exactly it. And or maybe that like this settlement, you can steal their solar panels and they'll be ruined. But how else are you going to save your family? Like, who's not going to put their family first?
Right.
And it's kind of interesting because what are we doing? We're playing with made-up characters like pixels on a screen. But even so, I don't know about you guys. I replay Baldur's Gate, and it's like, oh, it's so hard to be the arsehole, be the dickhead, evil character all the time.
Right.
And I kind of go, oh, I feel sorry for that settlement. Cool, I'll be nice to them. But we're going to make it harder for players, where it's like, if you don't do this thing, you're making it harder for yourself and the people in the game that you care about. So I'm kind of excited to explore what we can do with that and also test it out.
We have a question from chat from Dungeon Buster. He says, just for clarification, will it still be possible to choose something completely opposed to your current outlook? Is everything open? Is the question.
No, that's the thing. We do want to make it that you have to be consistent. The thinking is, what would your character think to respond, or how would your character think to act in this instance?
So it's not like, say, Knights of the Old Republic, where at the end of the game you can decide, well, I've been a bad guy this whole game, but I can just, I'm just going to be a good guy now.
Absolutely perfect example. One of the greatest RPGs ever made.
Right.
That I think would benefit from a little bit more consistency of character on how you've played through that many hours to lead you to that point. Mm-hmm. We also are going to take on player feedback. I know that there's a risk when you limit player action and player choice, which is exactly what this mechanic does. And if the feedback in beta, look, we're a year and a half at the most, maybe 2 years from launch. Mm-hmm. We do want to run a small closed beta with really engaged community members and that kind of thing that know this genre, and we'd value their feedback. If the feedback starts to come hey, I really want to have a broader worldview as standard, maybe we'll widen it, maybe we'll make it toggleable that, hey, you can choose anything you want as a setting. It will go completely against one of the design pillars, but that'll be based on player feedback, and if it's not fun, I want to throw it out because I want to make a fun RPG first and foremost.
To me, this seems like a more organic approach to branching storylines and branching choices. There's nothing I hate in games worse than what Breakman was saying. You go through a game and you have let's say a fork in the road, and you take one fork, but it doesn't really matter because the end result is the same. Is that an accurate assessment? Are we, are you kind of organically going through the motions here and then getting to an endpoint, or are there multiple endpoints to what you're thinking in Broken Roads?
We've got an ultimate plot line, and also with a team this size, when you start adding multiple endings and that kind of thing, you blow up scope quite a lot. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we have more something it starts narrow, it goes very, very broad, and then it kind of pinches close to maybe 4-ish for now conclusions. Mm-hmm. If you look at each moral quadrant, I think that's kind of as far as we want to send the aspirations right now. Look, the reception's been amazing. A lot of attention has come our way over the last 10 days. If we get the right publisher or the right kind of funding, mm-hmm. hey, we'll build a team and we'll have many more options to go through the game.
Sure.
But yeah, we wanted to be, if you know Baldur's Gate 2, for instance, as soon as you enter, I think it's the second chapter, the game just opens up and you can do so much, but it does eventually lead you to a particular point, Mm-hmm. And we're probably going to have you led to 1 or 4 points eventually.
Dungeon Buster earlier brought up the point that he likes big parties, and it looks like this game you're able to get more than the standard, wizard, fighter, thief type motif. You're able to get maybe a party of 6. Is that
yes,
what you're aiming for?
That's right. So you'll create a character. But then it's all pre-scripted, story-based companions. So everybody's got their own stats. They've got, unique weapons or unique skills. Everyone is very thoroughly written as well. They've got their relationships and their reactions to certain things that you do. Mm-hmm. We're looking at a roster of 10 from which you can have 5 at any one time.
Okay.
So at the moment, there's been 5 that have sort of developed to the point that we've gone public with them. You can see them in the key art and the trailer. We're getting some more writers on board to do a few different characters we're going to reveal over the next, coming months whenever we're ready to. But the goal right now is your own created character and up to 5 of a roster of 10.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of I'm sorry, Frank.
No, go right ahead.
Relationships can you form? Can you get have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, for instance, type thing?
Yeah, look, I'm not a huge fan of romances in games. It's just mm-hmm. not something that I really pursue when I play. But people have been asking this so many times, and I'm, some of the writers that I've got on the team, they do that kind of thing. So I'm like, cool. We'll have romances. We'll have, different people have in your party will have their own worldview and their own moral standing. I don't think I'm going to do anything to the point of like, you're a paladin and you can't have evil party members. Like I don't think we're going to restrict who you're with. They may dislike what you do. We don't want them to leave the party and that kind of thing. I don't like that mechanic. So there will be friendships that are influenced by what you've done. We're using software called Artisy Draft. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's absolutely brilliant narrative design tool. I think the team from Cyberpunk are using it. There's a whole load of games if you look it up. It's incredibly powerful at tracking, any kind of variables, any relationships, all your decision trees, that kind of thing. And the team's kind of really diving into that. If you do this at this point, you can link through to how that would influence someone's, attitude towards you, or, you might do something and then 3 hours later, some unpredictable outcome affects your party. Like, we've got really great tools to track all that, and throwing romances into the mix now, I think it's just something that we're going to do, because there is a demand for that.
Yeah, Breakman just asked that question because he when he plays games, he just wants to sleep with everybody in the game. That's why he asked that.
In Fallout, there were perks for sleeping with everybody. I couldn't help myself.
You talked a little bit about funding, Craig. I want to talk a little bit about that. Is there a Kickstarter, maybe an Indiegogo, or what are we doing with the funding of this game?
Yeah, look, not at the moment. We'll see where we go. Obviously, the reaction has been incredible. I mean, I think as of this morning, there was almost 15,000 views on the trailer. The booth at PAX has been super, super busy. We're getting noticed and we're getting attention.
And with our help, you just got like 3 more people viewing.
Exactly. I think that's what pushed it over the top. It's 14,997 to 15,000. So thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, look, I mean, all I want to say is that, we're getting a bit of attention, and it's the exact kind of attention we want, and we're reaching the exact kind of niche core audience. We know we're not after we're not going to bring over a Call of Duty or a Fortnite player. Like, we want people who walk past the booth or see the trailer. That's my genre. That's me. Like, I am a traditional isometric role-playing game player,
Yeah.
And there are companies that recognize that audience, and, so far so good with the reveal and all of our plans. So I'm not really going to talk too much more about like funding and the biz relationship stuff right now. But if we do end up going to Kickstarter, you guys will know all about it.
Sure.
Hopefully we don't get there. Hopefully the kind of attention we've been getting means that's not the route we're going to end up going.
Yeah.
Frank is probably happy to hear that.
Yeah, oh, God.
Kickstarter. That's why he asked.
Yeah,
so
I'm definitely not a fan of Kickstarter at all. Dungeon Buster asked a couple of interesting questions. This goes back to more of the development part of things.
He's one of our chatters.
He says, will people leave your party or complain about what you're doing depending on your worldview?
Cool. So that's what I was getting at, where I don't like the mechanic where, you do something and somebody leaves your party. I'm happy for them to complain. I'm even happy for them to have like debuffs or negative traits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did really answer that already.
Sorry?
I'm sorry, you really did answer that already.
I don't mean to. It's totally fine. I'm happy to elaborate because I've thought about this and I'm like, look, people are going to be unhappy, so maybe we just give them like the miserable trait, and there's attributes of -1, and like grumpy gives you -1 AP, like who knows, but I don't want to. I think that getting someone leaving your party kind of punishes you. There is a little bit of role-playing realism to that, but I personally don't like the mechanic. So my thinking is more, if you have a morally aligned party, maybe there's a benefit, and if you are opposed, there's a debuff, but not the I'm going to abandon you, and you're gone now. So
yeah, that's actually one of my favorite things. Like in Dungeons and Dragons, the actual role playing game, the pen and paper, is like morality bonuses. Like your party is like aligned for the most part. You get like some certain bonuses for the same type of actions and stuff like that. So that would be actually really cool. Dungeon ask another great question. On the PC, will this be an Epic exclusive or not?
We've had a bunch of people ask that, like they're super, super concerned. I'll say outright, we haven't had a single conversation with Epic. We don't plan on that. I've seen what the community reaction is to it. I fully understand devs that need it because, again, that moral choice. Like, am I going to secure the studio? Everyone can pay their rent, put food on their tables, and upset a few people, as opposed to just taking, say, a greedy paycheck. We are not in that position now. That conversation hasn't even started. All I can say on, it's the 12th of October 2019 is we don't have any plans for that. We haven't had those conversations, and I think that there's a lot of avenues I'd explore before we took that route.
Okay, that's fair enough. You can never burn any bridges. You never want to burn any bridges when it comes to those type of things, but I'm glad that you're at least cognizant of kind of the gaming community as a whole and how people feel about those type of exclusives.
Absolutely.
I was going to ask you kind of a quirky question. Drop Bear Bites. I know what a drop bear is just because, I don't know, I think I know everything pretty much, but for the people that
my bad.
Yeah, for the people that don't know what a drop bear is, can you kind of explain that to everybody?
Yeah, well, it's a definitely real and not at all mythical creature in Australia that, they tend to favor tourists in their diet. And if you're walking around, you got to sort of watch above you if you're walking under trees and so on, because they're sort of like a slightly larger than average koala, much more vicious claws, super sharp teeth. And yeah, I think the best way to stay safe is to put Vegemite behind your ears. You can also use toothpaste. It's not as effective. But yeah, I wouldn't basically leave any of the cities if I didn't have, Vegemite or toothpaste behind my ears.
Yeah.
So is it any kind of toothpaste, or should I get the most expensive toothpaste, or could I just buy the
anything that's multiple colors? Because the different colors scare them. Like those, they're kind of like the red and the green are warning colors that you'll see on snakes and stuff. So if you can get the multicolored toothpaste, that's definitely the best. And the more the safer you'll be.
See, I'm of the persuasion that hot sauce works on everything, so I would just try hot sauce to ward off the...
You can give it a go, but woe betide the tourist who finds the drop bear that's into spicy food. So yeah, that's your risk. And if you don't believe me, you can check the Australian Museum. The official website has an entry for drop bears. So I'd encourage you to read that entry as a little bit of a information before you take the risk of visiting Australia and heading out in the outback.
It's sort of
our listener Dungeon Buster once again has another question. He says he wants to know if toothpaste will be a lost treasure.
What? Sorry, I didn't catch the question.
He was asking if toothpaste will be. He was making the joke if toothpaste.
Oh right, yeah, no, I mean that's basically it's OP. We're actually having to dial it down a little bit, so there's a lot of testing going into the armor buff that toothpaste gives you.
Yeah. Now, real quick question about the story of Broken Roads. It is a post-apocalyptic thing. Is there an explanation as to what really is going on? Is it disease? Is it a zombie apocalypse? Is it more vague on purpose?
Look, it's not zombies. There is some disease, although that's not the worst of it. It really culminates from what I was talking about earlier with all of this divisive, sort of reductive online fighting that you'll see. Everyone's an expert in political theory, and people try and somehow believe that you're going to convince someone to think the way you do by shouting at them and insulting them and calling them names. That's political discourse in 2019. And so what we do is, like I said, it starts in America. You get a new civil war that makes everybody divided along, ideological lines. That spreads around the world, and you start getting great superpowers that are, aligned with one or other of these two new states. And that leads to, eventually nuclear war. But along the way, we've, screwed up the climate. Global temperatures have increased. Overpopulation is just absolutely ridiculous. And, there was another economic collapse like we saw, 15 years ago, 10 years ago. So that's all kind of contributing. Just it's humans fucking up, basically, is what's happening, Right. Yeah. And then it eventually, some of the major cities got bombed. people had to leave, people started to flee early, and government is just gone, you know. So, and people are making the.
This
making
sounds
the
like
most
a
of it.
documentary from the future, right?
Yeah, it definitely does, man.
Yeah, no,
I think we
it's
made
very,
that joke
very
already, but it
influenced by-
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's very much influenced by what we see in the world at the moment.
Yeah. I know you have to go, Craig. I don't want to keep you too much longer, but I do want to ask you, what you're at PAX right now, showing off the game. Is there a demo going on, or is it just trailer and then, you know, media attention? What's going on at PAX Australia right now?
We've got a big TV looping the trailer that you've seen, and then we do have a hands-on demo. It's a specific branch we made for PAX, just so people can click around. They can see the moral compass in action. They can see how the dialogue works. A lot of the different scenes. We just sort of shortcut some of the mechanics. Like you would have to discover places, repair radio towers to broaden the world map. We're just making those different settlements clickable, so you can go and see the different environments, the different art assets we've got in place, and really just talking people through the features more so than here's an end-to-end demo where you can complete a quest or do some combat. We're really just getting people's reactions, trying to get some attention, seeing like who are the core people that sort of walk past and they know exactly what they're doing or what we're doing instantly. Like, I know this fits into what I love to play. And really just kind of trying to get as much feedback as we can. Where do people struggle? What isn't clear? Like we've already got some, UI changes we know we have to make. And hey, everyone seems to ask this isn't clear. We've got to change that. Again, I want to remind you, it's been less than 9 months that the game's been worked on. So it's a very, very early build, but the reaction has been fantastic. Like people love the artwork. They love the world. Australians are super, super happy to see something that's set in authentic locations that they recognize. Love seeing camels. There's over 1 million feral camels running around in Australia. They're super hardy beasts that would survive, an apocalypse. They would persist and carry on.
Sure.
And we've got kangaroos running around, and just a lot of animals and colors and authentic, like flowers and bushes and stuff from the area, and people are really warming to that.
Yeah.
So it's been great. Really, really great so far.
The game looks absolutely fantastic so far. I know there's going to be a myriad of changes between now and when you guys finally put out the game, a year or two from now. Dungeon says it best in chat. He says, realistic apocalypse is best apocalypse. As a huge post-apocalyptic game fan, this is hitting all of the notes. So he's super excited.
So great to hear.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to use the opportunity. Sign up on the website. We're going to have a closed, like I said, a small closed beta where we want engaged people that get what we're doing. This isn't going to be a 1,000-person closed beta and used as a marketing thing. It's very much we're trying to avoid early access if we can and just launch the full thing when it's ready. But I do want to find that core of players who are like, they love what we're doing, and they're going to help us make the best game that we can put out for people that love this style.
Sure. He says,
I would definitely recommend our listener Questbuster.
Yeah.
Dungeon Buster or Questbuster, he goes by both.
Awesome.
Yeah, he says if they set up, if you guys set up a Steam page, he'll wish list it. So it's just a perfect game for Dungeon. The game looks great so far, Craig. We really appreciate you taking the time to, talk with us and talk a little bit about the game. Hopefully, sometime soon, if you have any updates, you'll come back on the show and discuss those.
Cool. Well, thanks very much. I really enjoyed talking to you guys as well. It's been a bit of a good laugh as well. So thanks a lot.
Yep. Thanks a lot, Craig. Good luck at PAX Australia for sure.
Cool. Thanks a lot,
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. All right. That was Craig from Drop Bear Bite Games. The game is Broken Roads. It looks really good. We talked about this, Breakman. This looks like a really, really heady type of mature, and I didn't get a chance to talk to him about that. Maybe when we have him on again. I had to let him go because he had interviews with I think GameSpot right after us. Okay. So now we're up in the upper echelons of GameSpot and and other people that are doing interviews. But I think this is more of a mature type game. Break that we really talked about.
I would have said more if it had not been for my throat issues.
It's all good, Eric. No problem at all.
It's fine. I think letting him talk mostly was the best idea.
Yeah, I mean,
I felt bad every time I interrupted, but there's so many questions I wanted to ask. So
oh man, I mean, we could have probably did a whole show with Craig, just talking about the game and certain aspect of the games. I'm with you, Breakman. I had like 50 million questions I wanted to ask. It's really tough, but just listening to the guy is worth the price of admission. So I hope everybody enjoyed that interview. Make sure you check out Broken Roads and get all the updates and all that good fun stuff if you're listening on the archive. But all right, let's move on, guys. I was gonna ask him for a Stinko, but I didn't know if like it would like translate. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to go that far and ask him something that's shitty that happened in his week and ruin the mood. So we're gonna go ahead and ruin our moods, guys. Let's you know what? I don't know what the fuck. There's my audio cues. Let's move on to our Stinko since we have a few minutes left.
What is it?
Stinko of the week.
All right, Break. You're up. Stinko of the week.
Okay. Well, I did have a couple of Stinkos. I can't remember what one was because I didn't write it down. But I guess my only Stinko then right now is to the fucking Trump and his. Hey, this is we're bringing troops home. Like we're ending another war. We're getting out of Syria and stuff like that. No, you're a liar. What you did was you moved Trump troops out of the way. You moved them to a different part of the country. You didn't bring anybody home, so that another country could go ahead and invade Syria.
This was also
with the help of Putin and Russia and I think who's the other country that's involved heavily in this?
Maybe Turkey. Turkey's the other one.
No, I know Turkey's the country. This is the main country, but they're getting help from Russia and somebody else. I can't remember who that is.
Yeah, I can't remember the other country. It doesn't really matter. Like, my Stinko's the same, so I'll go ahead and talk about this with you. It's not even so much that he's quote unquote pulling troops out of Syria.
Just another fucking lie, which is complete and utter bullshit. There's no.
Yeah.
Even his party members can't defend this.
The problem that I have with it is the Kurds were a huge ally in kicking ISIS's ass, Breakman. And
actually, in more ways than one, they weren't just an ally; they were a main force.
Yes, they were they'd lost 10,000 people. Over 10,000 people, but they captured the majority of the ISIS fighters that were out there, and they also defeated ISIS. They pretty much single-handedly, with a little bit of U.S. backing, basically took care of ISIS for us. They're a hardy bunch, the Kurds. And I feel really bad because they are absolutely going to get slaughtered by Turkey, because Turkey has, I think, the second biggest armed force unit in all of NATO. So it's not going to be long, and the Kurds are really going to get their asses kicked. Not only that, there's a bunch of ISIS fighters still in those prisons that the Kurds are...
there's about 10,000 of them still in prison.
Yeah. So what happens if let's say they take care of the Kurds that are holding those soldiers, and the Turks decide to just let those people go? Like it'll be ISIS 2.0, except you'll have ISIS 2.0 that's even more pissed off and more ready to do some more damage to the U.S. So it's an absolute disaster. I'm one for stopping these endless wars.
Right,
Breakman.
Me too. I'm with you on that one. But this isn't what this is.
No, this is not. This is causing more instability and ruining one of the best fighting forces in the entire world. And Trump is an idiot, and I'll tell you why, Breakman. He said the Kurds did not help us in World War II. He needs to look at his history books. The Kurds definitely helped in World War II.
He doesn't look at anything that isn't a coloring book.
Yeah, Freak's got to go. Later, Freak. Appreciate you joining. Really, really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the interview. He's an idiot, Breakman.
I mean, if you want to explain to me how he's an idiot, we don't have enough time.
No, there really isn't. But I'm glad you.
Even if we had all night and all next tomorrow, we still wouldn't have enough time.
Yeah.
He defies idiot.
Yeah, he really is. And we were talking about broken roads. Trump might be the gateway to a real broken roads. You know what I mean? Breakman. He's all the stuff that Craig talked about happening right now. Global warming, idiot president of the United States with two different factions: the far right, the far left.
Yep.
It's crazy. I think we're in agreement on that. Any other stinkos, Breakman?
Well, there goes, I guess, to Hillary and her comment about the gutsiest thing she ever did was stay married to Bill.
Ugh. Oh boy, gutsy.
Yeah, really. I mean, come on. So that's the gutsiest thing you ever did was stay married to a molester and a yeah. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, if you call that gutsy,
that's
I
not
guess.
called gutsy. You need a dictionary, but whatever.
Psychotic would be, word that I would use. She's another one, man. But anyways, let's move on.
She's one of those people that needs to stop talking because she helps Trump.
Yep, I agree. And she kind of threatened to enter the presidential race again, and I'm like, no, let's not relive that again. We already got.
We have her 2.0 with Biden.
That's what I was gonna say. We have Hillary 2.0 with Joe Biden, who by the way is no longer the front runner, which is luck. I mean, I thankfully that's he's gonna drop. I predicted this. You guys remember I predicted he's going to drop like a fucking anchor. So it's going to be between Bernie and Elizabeth Warren, and I'm really hoping that Bernie gets it because he will absolutely fucking trounce Trump. I am not confident that Elizabeth Warren will, first of all, fight for the things that we need and want, and I don't think she can beat Trump. So, whatever. Anything else, Break?
No, because that next I actually want to go into my Sweeto.
Okay. Let's get Eric's stinkos first off. Eric?
Alright. I got stinkos. I got lots of them.
Alright, go.
The first one is the passing of John Kirby. And in case anybody doesn't remember, because it was a long-ass time ago, but John Kirby was the attorney Nintendo hired to defend their use of Donkey Kong from Universal when Universal wanted to litigate against them because they apparently thought it was too much like King Kong.
Yeah, John Kirby was actually there's something else he's known for, Eric, and it's in this article.
Oh yeah, and because of that, he was his last name was used for the name of Kirby's character in the Kirby series.
Yeah, but he was also instrumental in the Voting Rights Act and the civil rights, all the civil rights stuff. So he's a very important historical figure, not only for the use of his name in the Kirby games, but he basically exposed.
And for fighting against copyright law nonsense.
Yeah, he exposed, and I think this is probably the most important thing that he did. He worked on, they had literacy tests that were designed, and it explains in this article, they were designed to exclude African Americans. It's part of the he's part of the reason that we have the Voting Rights Act, and a wonderful activist and a great person passed away. I'm glad you brought this up, and it's definitely a stinko, Eric. What else you got?
I've also got how PlayStation Europe has laid off some of its staff alongside the PlayStation 5 announcement. How nice.
Yeah.
Hey, we have more work to do. We got a new system coming out. You're fired.
Yeah.
That's pretty
we're
much.
not going to use you at all to help promote the system. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what companies do all the time. Like this is really the result of end stage capitalism. People, like, we're really
That's why I've said, like, the game developers need to unionize.
Yeah,
It'd be a completely different
Well, it's
union.
hardware development, but yeah, same idea.
yeah. It sucks, but what can you do? What else you got, Eric?
From Engadget, I have the article on the Blizzard fiasco that happened this week.
What's the gist of this, Eric? Because I'm
basically a Hearthstone pro player was streaming, and he was doing a show and a post-match interview, I guess, and he voiced his support for the Hong Kong protesters, and as a result, in retribution, Blizzard, not wanting to piss off the Chinese government for the money they get from them, suspended his account so he can't play Hearthstone for a while.
That really sucks. The NBA is going through something very similar. The general manager of the Houston Rockets kind of voiced his support for the Hong Kong protest.
And Blizzard made an official response, but it basically boils down to our games aren't political, so this is why we took him down. But it's not a good explanation, and I don't agree with their decision, even based on policy, because like, considering the fact that so many other companies have spoken out, have basically stuck up with the Chinese government and not with the protesters because there's money involved. I don't believe that their claim that money wasn't involved in their decision. You're fucking liars, Blizzard.
I totally agree. Eric. I couldn't agree more. Sad situation the NBA is going through. The National Basketball Association is going through something.
They denied him his winnings too?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
That's what Questbuster's saying in here. Like, he added that part. Like, he's
saying, yeah, they did. They did.
That's right. That is beyond fucked up.
Yeah. As I was saying, the GM for the Houston Rockets
and this is coming after the fact that during a live stream of, like, I think Overwatch, a couple of university students that were in the background that had pro HK flags had the live stream cut because of that.
Yeah,
total bullshit. Two people that weren't involved in the stream just because they were in the background.
You know what it boils down.
I could kind of see in that because what if there was somebody else? What if it's like MAGA supporters or something, for instance?
Yeah.
But then again, if they're just wearing just MAGA shirts or hats or whatever, they're just wearing a hat.
Right. They're just. I doubt they would have got banned for that. Breakman.
But just wearing a shirt, like, that's stupid. I take back any of my previous statement. That's stupid.
When it involves money and lots of money, then
this is another long line list of things that Blizzard has fucked up on. Let's see, the Diablo 3 auction house for one.
Yeah.
And the fact that they launched it in such a starry state that it had a bunch of technical issues.
Yeah.
And then but more modernly, when we get to Overwatch, we have the stupid loot boxes.
Yeah.
Fuck loot boxes.
Yeah, well, things are going to change because they've been outlawed in certain places. So
not the United States.
But there's also the shittiness of the Overwatch League and how it only has one so far female player out of a group of a bunch of men, and the fact that the league itself isn't very diverse racially.
Yeah. Windsock is in chat. Welcome, Windsock. Thanks for joining the chat.
I don't even think it's a matter of, like, women not applying for positions. I think it's them just not accepting them.
Yeah. Well, that could be. We don't know the details fully on that, but I would not.
Let's have a token woman on the league just so we look like we are not misogynistic.
Yeah. I was mentioning the NBA. The NBA is going through something very similar to this thing.
Yeah, and so are a bunch of other companies like Apple and
Disney.
Remember when they recast the person who was supposed to play the Sorcerer Supreme because they had the problem with Tibet and they wanted to make China happy, so they changed it to a white woman instead.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm. It's when money is involved, things change, and it's always going to be that way until I believe we get money out of politics, and there's only.
But then you have companies like like
and we
people like South
the
Park,
totalitarian state that is the Chinese government.
What were you saying, Blake?
like Parker
China
and Stone,
just-
who
Yeah.
do episodes
ham on the
like
government.
Fuck China episode they did this week.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I kind of want to watch it.
Yeah, it was a total Fuck China episode.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
in the previous episode, one of the main characters was selling out to China.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
basically, he was told that he had to say fuck China.
Yeah.
This week's.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about all that. Let's break up all the badness with some goodness, guys.
Dude, what does my tattoo say?
Sweet! Sweet of the week!
All right, Breakman, your sweeto of the week.
Oh, my sweet this week. I said earlier, you said if Elizabeth Warren was nominated, you don't think you could beat Trump.
Nope.
Well, my sweeto goes to, with some of the news that's been coming out, we might not have to even worry about him in the next election.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
it's starting to get really bad because for him, he was just told in court that he can't hide his taxes. He
Yep.
has to give them.
Yep. Which, if he doesn't, man, I go back and forth on this break because he's been getting away with so much. Who's to say
know,
he doesn't get away with this? Like,
Well, the problem is that the people that have the power to enforce them have this wait and see attitude
Yep.
going on instead of really doing anything.
yeah, that's true.
And nobody else is doing anything because the only other people that have the power to Senate, and they've been been getting more and more quiet, and instead of defending him, they've been trying to stay away from the cameras and stuff like that.
Yeah, like Mitch McConnell. I haven't seen him in forever. Like, he's nowhere to be found. Like, I think you're right, Breakman. And remember what I said maybe a week or two ago about there's been rumblings about senators that would be willing to vote him out. I think that's why we're getting a lot of silence. I don't think it's because they want to avoid the questions. I mean, there is that, but I think
they don't want to say directly that we can't approve. We just do not approve of this.
Right.
I think a lot of them are hoping stuff blows over.
It's not going to blow over.
If this war in Syria that's ramping up, doesn't blow over, which I don't see it blowing over, they're going to be forced to make heavy choices because none of them approve. No, the only person I think approved was Rand Paul because Rand Paul.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
actually,
Rand Paul.
Rand Paul is a weird character. Like, he doesn't fit the normal, typical
I know
Republican
that's because
mold.
Rand Paul. He just he's so anti-war. Even if you're just moving troops, he's for it. Like, get them out of war. Yeah, we don't need them there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I
shouldn't say anti-war because
Yeah.
he was pro-waging war, but once the troops are there, he wants them out.
Yeah. I actually think that this could have been a great move by Trump, but it turned out not great. Like, if he would have said, we're going to move all our troops out of Iraq and Afghanistan, and he did that would have been way better than what he's doing in Syria. And Syria would have probably been the last piece of the puzzle that I would have worried about. I would have probably, gave Turkey an ultimatum and said, you will not cross this border. You do one thing and we will be right back making sure that you're doing the right thing. And if you attack our troops, then you got a huge problem. But he's a coward. He said there were 50 troops, there were 1,000 troops that he took out of there, and it's quite ridiculous what he did.
And this happened a day after he talked to the president of Turkey.
Yeah,
and he's like, no, this isn't. We're not abandoning our people. Like, dude, you talked to the president who said this is what I'm going to do, and you're like, okay.
Well, it's because
Cool.
Erdogan yelled at him. He was one of the few people that got pissed at Trump, and Trump always thinks that he's in a position of power, but when Erdogan got his ear, he gave him an earful. And Trump's not used to that. He's used to everybody being a yes man and, sucking his nuts. And Erdogan wasn't willing to do that. And that's why you saw the reaction that you did.
I know. And his supporters are so blind to how weak he is. Like, they see him at his conferences.
Yeah.
He's standing on stage in front of his loving, adoring crowd, and acting tough as fuck. But that's not. He's not.
No.
If anybody steps up to him, he's scared.
He's a coward. He's even been a coward to one of the weakest Democrats ever, Nancy Pelosi. So, and Chuck Schumer, another fucking
The only
piece of
thing
shit.
he's able to do is to spread rumors about him. Try and bastardize them, say like they need to be impeached and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's worthless.
And look how heavy he's going after this already been proven false thing with Biden and Ukraine.
It's not entirely false. There's some shady shit going on with Biden and his son.
Well, no, I don't disagree with any of that. But I'm saying the
overall narrative
he's
is
using
not.
this as like, hey, look, don't look at me. I'm not doing anything. Everything everybody else is doing is crooked.
Right, which is, it's projection. We've talked about it on this show many a time, Breakman. It's pure projection. Everything he's doing, he's projecting on everybody else. Real quickly, I wanted to mention Dungeon's comment about China. He says China's game market is worth nearly $37 billion, and Blizzard, Activision, so want a piece of that. Of course they do, Dungeon. That's where they make a good chunk of their money is in China. So yes.
And look, the Warcraft movie. It was a big flop in America,
but a huge hit in China.
Yeah, huge in China.
Yeah,
right.
Actually didn't do too bad. I looked at the numbers here in the United States. Comparative to China, yes, but it didn't do too bad here. It made almost, I think, $75 million, if I'm not...
that lost money.
Yeah. Well, if you just look at just the United States, then yes, it did lose money.
If you lose money in any market, it's a fail. It's a flop.
It's a flop in this market, but China more than made up for that, man. I think, what did it make? Like $300 million or something in China.
It made ridiculous numbers.
Yeah, it was ridiculous in China. So, Eric, did you have any Sweetos?
No.
Did you have any more, Breakman?
Yes, actually. Speaking of Trump and things starting to turn from bad to worse for him.
Yeah.
The polls are also now starting to shift against him.
Yep, 51%.
Even on Fox News.
Yeah, 51% according to a Fox News poll want him impeached and removed. So
he has been going to more and more extreme right news sites. The people who still support him, the Breitbarts and other places.
OANN, that stupid One America.
Yeah, I saw him tweet about that. I'm like, what is that? I've never he's going to these places I've never heard of.
Yeah, Breitbart, OANN, all these smaller, the Blaze, it's stupid places like that. It's just the walls are closing in. I think he will finish out because I think the Democrats will fuck it up somehow, Breakman. But if somebody like Bernie gets the nomination, he has no shot, man. Bernie will demolish him. Bernie has more individual donors than anybody. He's raised more money than any individual candidate. So, I'm not really worried about the election. I just wish the Democrats had a little bit more of a spine. So, whatever. My Sweeto...
Not just the Democrats, the Republicans. I know so many of them don't approve of Trump.
Yeah,
but they publicly approve of him.
Yeah, it just goes without saying on the Republican side.
A bunch of fucking... They're all spineless.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. They all suck. The moderate Democrats and the Republicans are, as far as I'm concerned, are one big group that I hope they all get thrown out of Congress.
I think Trump has shown how spineless they all are.
Yeah,
he's come in there and he's run shit, but like you said, when a leader or whatever his name is in Turkey steps up to
Erdogan,
him, I don't try and pronounce his name. So he steps up to him, Trump backs down. I'm sorry.
He's a coward.
All his bluster and everything else is because he's never heard no for the most part.
Right. Let's move on to my Sweeto real quick, guys. Finally getting my car fixed. You guys know the saga that is Progressive Insurance that I quickly dropped. That's another Sweeto. I got insurance that was half the rate And I get better insurance with the half of a deductible. So instead of having a $500 deductible, I only have a $250 deductible. I got more insurance, and I got it for a longer period of time because Progressive sucks. So fuck Progressive, and I'm finally getting my car fixed because it's going to cost Progressive more money. So fuck them. I got a real quick question. We're not really going to have a huge free-for-all. What is your favorite modern RPG? I know we all have our favorite, like, post or pre-modern RPGs like Final Fantasy, and, for me it's like Dragon Quest VIII. But I'm talking about, like, really modern RPGs. What is your favorite? I'll start with you, Eric.
Favorite RPG, like, games?
Yeah, just one game. If you had to pick one modern RPG, what would it be?
Dragon Quest 11.
Yeah,
that's modern.
Yeah. No, that's a good choice. What about you, Break?
I want to say Fallout 4, but
that's
like
fine.
The latest Fallout came out and it was a big,
No, Fallout 4 is modern. I would consider that modern. For me, I went back and forth between Skyrim. I think Skyrim is a fantastic game. Glitches, galore, I know, but it was just a great game. Or even what was the one that Persona 4 or 5. I mean, those are just great fucking games. So what else? Yeah, I know. I knew Fallout would be yours, Breakman, for sure. But I just thought it was an interesting question.
Yeah, I mean, the only other RPG I play a lot is probably the Record Keeper.
Yeah,
which I love that they always update. Like, they keep adding new stuff. Like, they just added new stages just last week.
Yeah, no, I love games like that keep updated and stuff like that. But that's all I got for you. Did you guys have anything else before we went on to plugs?
Dungeon Buster says Pillars of Eternity 2 is his.
You know what, Dungeon? I have Pillars of Eternity 1. I want to get through that. And then because I know it's a solid. I started Pillars of Eternity 1, and it's a good game. I don't have Pillars of Eternity 2. I'm kind of waiting for a sale on that. But I heard like Pillars of Eternity 2 takes it up like 15 notches. So he says Greedfall was surprisingly solid too. That's a free to play game if I think that's correct. Greedfall's a free to play. But all right, let's move on to our plugs. Let's start with Breakman.
You can follow me at RPGrinders on Twitter and at Breakman on Twitter, and you can follow at Drop Bear Bites, and that's BYTES, not BITES.
Yeah. Dungeon says Shadowrun Hong Kong's also awesome. Yeah, we were talking about Shadowrun. There's people working on Broken Roads from Shadowrun Dungeon, so that's awesome to hear. All right, Eric, your plugs.
I'm gonna plug not supporting Blizzard because fuck Blizzard.
Except for Diablo. I'll make an exception for Diablo, but everything else.
No, I wouldn't even do that because you could just play Path of Exile instead.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Or Pillars of Eternity.
Or any of the other games that are like Diablo.
Yeah, that's true.
Like the upcoming Darksiders Origins.
Yeah, you could do that. And BlizzCon is coming up too, Dungeon says. Yeah, perfect timing, Blizzard.
If I do get around to playing Diablo 3, I'll buy it used, and I won't play online because that requires making a Battle.net account. And fuck Blizzard, I'm not going to use your Battle.net account.
Yeah, there you go. All right, what else, Eric? Anything else you want to plug?
But, that'll be many years from now, though, because it'll take a long time for that game's price to go down. Yeah, I mean, it has had sales, but it's only been like half off. I'm looking for like $20 or less.
Yeah.
But I'm also gonna plug my Patreon. I write reviews for games on sites like BostonBastardBrigade.com, TotalEGN.com, and VogNetwork.com. If you like what I've written and you want to support me, even if something as little as $1 would help me.
Yeah, just search Eric Kelly on Patreon and throw Eric a bone. He's a great writer. does really good work, works his ass off to get reviews out to various sites like Best.
I haven't been writing the last 2 weeks because my life has been consumed by embargo game and sickness.
Yeah. All right. Thanks everybody in chat. I know Freak5 was in there. Of course, our good friend Dungeon Buster was in there. Let me look at chat here. Come on, man. What's going on? Okay, there we go. There's some other people in there. Alfred Judo Koos 817 was in there. Thank you very much. That's a first timer. Angel of Light, thank you so much. Commander Root was in there. And I mentioned Dungeon and Freak, and Windsuck was in there. Thank you all so much for joining. Hope you enjoyed the interview. If you're listening on the archives, I hope you enjoyed the interview as well with Craig. Thanks very much to Craig from Drop Bear Bites and his game Broken Roads. That's an RPG to keep an eye out. It's a post-apocalyptic. We hope that you enjoy the interview with Craig. He was fantastic and explained a lot about what is shaping up to be a very intelligently designed and a very intelligent story and some great artwork on Broken Roads. So if you're listening on archives, make sure you check that out. There's a trailer on YouTube. Just search Broken Roads, Drop Bear Bites. And I think Breakman already mentioned their Twitter at Drop Bear Bites, BYTES. And you can get the trailer there as well. Do you guys have anything else?
It's Food Quest time.
It's definitely Food Quest. Oh, you can follow me on Twitter at Frank Branches, and if you want to add me, my gamer tag on all the systems is RPGrinders. So, thanks everybody so much. Anything else, gentlemen?
I just want to say it's really hard to get this really close to the mic without making a noise.
Also, it's probably a good idea to start getting your flu shots.
Yeah, I need to get mine, but I have to pay full price for mine. But yes, get your flu shots for sure. All right, stay safe this weekend. We want to see you back here next week. Till then, we're out.
Cowbell.
I was going to see if anybody interrupted. I didn't want to do it.
Oh, I definitely want to do it. I want to do it. Do it, cowbell. Do it, cowbell. Do it, cowbell.
Cowbell style.
The power of the cowbell compels you.
Hope you guys enjoyed that interview. We had a lot of fun doing it. So it's a game to look
on all of our radar now.
Yeah, for sure. We spoke about it last week. I think we all were in agreement that looks really good. So hopefully it'll fulfill a lot of the promises.
I think our glowing talking about the game, like you and me, were really peaked about it. That's got attention.
Yeah. I was happy. I mean, he took the time out of doing PAX to do an interview with us, and we had him for about 40 minutes. We were only supposed to have Craig for like 30 minutes, but we do what we do here to bring interviews and whatnot. But anyways, thanks everybody in chat for listening. We really, really appreciate it. You guys rock, especially you, Dungeon. We love you, and Freak, if you're listening, we love you too, man. You guys bring it every week, and everybody else in chat. If you're listening on the archives on Twitch and YouTube, where were you? Live every Friday 7 Eastern time, where we do interviews every great fucking once in a while. But thanks for everybody for listening. Really appreciate it. Later, everybody.